Hey bakers, have you guys seen those crazy videos of people decorating cakes so super fast like this video here? Well, I'm going to attempt to do this for the very first time and try and decorate a cake in under 1 minute. Now, to achieve this style of cake decorating, I believe you need to be using some kind of whipped cream because it's super light and can be easily shaped with just a little bit of force. So I'm using a non-dairy whipping cream. Just look how amazingly smooth this whipped cream is. And this is the consistency of my frosting, so pretty soft but still firm enough to hold its shape. So I'm starting off by filling my piping bag with the whipped cream. Now I usually just use an offset spatula when decorating a cake, but I think with this technique you need to use a piping bag because you want the frosting to go onto the cake as evenly as possible before smoothing it out. So I'm just cutting the tip of my piping bag here so my frosting can easily come out, and then I'm going ahead and placing my 6-inch cake dummy securely onto my turntable so I can start practicing. I'm using the Prop Options Cake Compass in this video. It's so good for decorating dummy cakes. I'll post a link below if you wanted to check it out. So I go ahead and start practicing and start by spinning my turntable pretty fast and start adding my frosting to the top. I was actually pretty impressed with the top. It went on pretty smoothly, but then I went to do the side and I think I was just spinning my turntable way too fast for a beginner of this technique like me. So it wasn't quite as smooth initially, but then I kind of got the hang of it. So once I filled in the gaps, it was time to start smoothing this cake. Now because I usually use my cake scraper for this, I thought I'd give it a go just to see how it feels, but I quickly realized that it wasn't the best tool for doing this, and I think it's because the cake scraper was just too big and too heavy. So a little bit harder for me to control, and you know, when you're scraping something as smooth as whipped cream, and on top of that, scraping it when the cake is spinning so fast, it's just not easy. I kept using it anyway for this trial, and it still worked pretty good in the end, but now it was time for the top, and I was so nervous. I've never smoothed out the top of a cake like this before, and I wasn't sure how to hold the cake scraper. Now it didn't work out too bad, but it certainly wasn't perfect, but I was pretty sure I wasn't holding the cake scraper properly, so I rewatched the video I posted earlier and I noticed they were holding the piece of acetate sheet that they were using kind of horizontally, so I tried it again with my cake scraper in a horizontal position, but again I couldn't quite get it right. I definitely needed some more practice, but also decided to try a lighter tool for the scraping. So I went ahead and covered the top and the sides again. I think I was getting a bit better at this, and then I decided to use a piece of acetate sheet this time. Now the acetate I had was pretty thin and I was really struggling with figuring out how to hold it in my hand, and once I started to use it, it was not doing a very great job. I think if my acetate was slightly thicker, it would have worked much better. Now I did notice that if I slightly curved my acetate, it worked a lot better, but then it gave me kind of more of a curved look on the top and bottom of my cake, which I didn't really want, and when I tried and used the kind of curved technique on the top of my cake, my acetate just wasn't strong enough to hold that shape, and yeah, it just didn't quite work out. I was doing pretty horribly at this point. So I decided to stop with the acetate and try with something else. So next I decided to use some mathematical equipment. I've seen people use rulers and even credit cards with this technique, so I thought I'd give some different shaped rulers a go. So I did the sides first with the protractor and it worked really well. It was definitely the best tool I'd used so far, and I think it's because it was light enough for me to control really well, but still had enough space to catch the excess frosting I was scraping off the cake. Now I tried it for the top too and it wasn't bad. It worked better than the cake scraper and acetate, but still not quite what I wanted. I'm pretty sure it was just me though, and maybe not understanding the best way to hold these tools. Now this is where I was really humbled because I was becoming a bit too overconfident in my spinning skills, and just look at what a disaster the frosting on the sides of my cake are. It looks like an octopus or something, but anyway, this time I tried using my spatula, but it didn't work very well either because the bottom of the spatula is curved, so it wasn't really catching the frosting on the bottom. So I decided to try one last time with a ruler. I have seen people use rulers for this technique and it worked pretty well actually. I think I still preferred the protractor for the sides, but when I tried the ruler on top, it was by far the best. It had a nice long surface area for me to work with, and it was super light and easy for me to control. So I had now decided on the protractor for the sides and the ruler for the top, and now just kept practicing over and over again until I felt like I was at a decent skill level for me to try the 1 minute challenge. I never really got it perfect ever, but good things take time and I probably just need a whole lot more practice, but nonetheless I was ready to take on the challenge and see if I could decorate this cake in 1 minute and include some piping on the top. So I set up my phone, pushed my timer, and here I am trying to decorate this cake in under 1 minute. So I'm starting off with the top. It's going pretty smoothly, not too bad. And here I am doing the sides. Now looking back on it, I should have actually used both my hands when piping the frosting the entire time because it's so much easier and quicker that way, but yeah, maybe for next time. And my protractor's doing a pretty good job. We're at 32 seconds. Okay, didn't do a bad job of the sides, so it's all good. Okay, and I stopped with the ruler there, so not the neatest job, but you know, it still looks smooth enough. And now I'm just quickly trying to get my piping in. Oh gosh, not the best piping either, but that's okay. All right, and we're done. Okay, 1 minute and 2 seconds. I mean, it's not that bad, not perfect, but you know, I only practiced for about 2 hours. But yeah, if you guys have any tips and tricks below, if you're, you know, a pro at this technique, then please leave me a comment below. Apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.